Welcome to this online presentation on the potential regional food scraps and garbage collection service that is being considered in the new draft resource recovery plan, Less is More, Services and Solutions for Reducing Waste. My name is Carrie McIver, and I'm going to take you through this presentation. I'll give you some background. We'll look at why food scraps collection, where are the potential collection areas, what's included, how often and how much, what about curbside recycling, and what happens next. So the Regional District of Central Kootenay engaged Maura Walker and Associates, MWA, that is myself, my colleague Maura Walker, and Jeff Ainge, to look at the feasibility of implementing a regional collection program for food scraps and garbage in the RDCK. This project is part of the draft resource recovery plan. This new plan, which we have been involved in the creation of, looks at a new disposal target of 28%, a goal to reduce disposal from 490 kilograms to 360 kilograms per person per year. And the most significant action in this draft resource recovery plan to meet this goal is organic waste diversion. So what do we mean by organics? Organics are food scraps, the backyard compostable, the fruits and the vegetables that many of you are composting in your backyards, but also the backyard non-compostables, the meat, the bones, the breads, non-liquid dairy, fats, food soiled paper, the leftovers in your fridge that have been there for too long, that you don't want to put in your backyard composter because it will attract wildlife. Organics also refers to yard and garden waste, the small yard waste, leaves, branches, and grass clippings. Why should we divert organics and in particular food waste? When organics decompose in a landfill, they generate methane, and methane gas is 21 times more potent than carbon dioxide. It is a very powerful greenhouse gas. So one of the easiest ways we can reduce greenhouse gas emissions is through diverting organics from landfill, diverting yard waste, and diverting food scraps. This is why this diverting organic waste is part of the RDCK Climate Action Plan. And the photo on the right is actually a picture that I took in Nelson last September when working on this project during the period when the smoke from the fires south of the border absolutely impacted our everyday living. So it is really important to address the climate crisis to divert organics from landfill. So this is a slide that shows regional district disposal rates in 2018. Every regional district has to report to the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change Strategy on their annual disposal. The most recent numbers are 2018. The provincial average in 2018 was 505 kilograms per capita. The provincial long-term target is 350 kilograms per capita. That is the provincial average. But why I wanted to show you this is to show that those regional districts with low or the lowest disposal rates are all collecting food waste at the curb. The regional district has been very active in the last 4 years at trying to come up with a plan to divert organic waste from landfill. In August 2017, we were engaged to develop an organic waste diversion strategy that the board endorsed. In December 2018, we presented composting option assessment to the board. In February 2019, there was a municipal workshop to look at the cost estimates to collect food waste for Castlegar, Nelson, and Creston. In May 2019, the regional district applied to the Provincial Organic Infrastructure Program for 2/3 funding to construct 2 composting facilities. And that application was made on approval in principle from Castlegar, Nelson, and Creston that they would collect organics by 2022. That application was approved in January 2020. In March 2020, another workshop was held with municipal partners and with the Regional District of Kootenay boundary, who are partnering to send their food waste from the Trail Rossland area to the new compost facility being constructed near Salmo. In April 2020, a request for proposals went out for design and engineering services for the two compost facilities and for transfer station upgrades at Utashinia and at Groman Narrows. That was awarded in June, and in July 2020, the RDCK asked Maura Walker and Associates to undertake a regional organics collection feasibility study. Why curbside collection of food scraps? Well, this bar chart shows you that less than 50% of households in the regional district of Central Kootenay have curbside collection. Now, why is that important? That's important because experience elsewhere in BC, in the 60 programs that are actually collecting food waste in the curb, shows that curbside collection gets the highest recovery rate. Right now, we have limited or no data on self-managed reduction programs, very limited data on self-haul drop-off programs, potentially 25 kilograms per household for residents that would be bringing their food waste to a transfer station. But curbside averages above even 125 kilograms per capita per household, which is a really good recovery rate. And if you want to be diverting organics from landfill and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So the feasibility study looked at what about other regional districts? Are they implementing curbside programs outside of the municipal boundaries? Consult with private haulers who are already providing subscription services. Look at the potential areas for curbside collection, come up with service delivery options, and make recommendations. So we looked at all the regional districts in BC and came up with 18 regional districts that already provide collection services, either garbage only or garbage and food waste or garbage and recycling. But this is actually a common practice for a regional district to provide a service to households outside of municipal boundaries. We also talked with the private service providers, Alpine Disposal, Doug's Disposal, Kootenay Waste Services, and Tippett Waste Solutions that are providing subscription services to households throughout the regional district. Alpine Disposal in particular is already providing curbside collection of recycling in the west subregion outside of Castlegar to 2,300 households, which shows curbside makes sense. So where are the potential collection areas? We did a mapping exercise where we looked at housing density and housing clusters, distance from the composting facilities or the transfer stations, major transportation highway corridors, residential zoning in electoral areas. We got input from the private haulers, input from electoral area directors, and the map on the right shows the areas where we think it might be feasible to provide curbside collection. Now, these are just really high-level areas where we think it might make sense, but we really need your input to tell us whether this makes sense or whether we're way off base. So for this consultation exercise, more detailed maps have been prepared for each electoral area. These maps are available online or at your local transfer station. We want you to look at these maps and tell us, yes, I live in this area that you've identified. I think this makes sense, or no, this does not make sense. Or I live in an area outside of where you think there could be a program, and I think you should expand the area. We need your input. This program is looking at weekly food scraps collection in a green bin with bi-weekly, every other week of garbage collection. And a very high level cost estimate would be $135 to $180 per household annually. And this program would improve convenience for residents, would reduce costs, would increase diversion, would reduce the environmental footprint, and ease pressure on the landfill. What about curbside recycling? Well, right now, Recycle BC does not fund curbside recycling in electoral areas. But there are future policy changes under consideration that may allow the RDCK to obtain funding for this service. but the prerequisite will be that there must have been a garbage collection service in place for 2 years. So if collection of garbage and food waste is implemented in the regional district, this sets the regional district up for potentially collecting recyclables at the curb down the road. So what would happen if this service goes in place? Well, under the current situation, as I said previously, less than 50% of households have curbside collection. With this potential regional curbside collection program, that would increase to more than 80%, which would significantly increase diversion from landfill and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So it's really important that you fill out our online survey. Survey results will inform if and where there is support to further investigate curbside collection. If there is support, the RDCK will refine service area boundaries and calculate more accurate costing. Interested communities will receive a second phase of consultation in 2022, and the results from the second phase of consultation should give electoral area directors sufficient feedback to determine support for curbside collection service in their electoral areas. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation. For more information and please to fill out the feedback survey, go to rdck.ca/curbside. If you have questions, please call us at 250-352-1576 or email us at rrp@rdck.ca. Thanks again.